at your copy all marked up. So, do you have questions? It is down 3,000. Talking back and forth about all the cases in the library. We know we're not doing foot traffic in. It's not clear as to whether getting the foot traffic in is adding staff to do that, adding more hours to that. I don't know what that stands.
Saturday would be more because you're the wonder I mean, someone approached me with other libraries and other townships, advertise and plans even more, and all the different ideas to pull people in. They never seen it come on.
So that's not true. Yes, more people are on Facebook, but
Well, does she advertise on Facebook? She'd be better off to close Monday, Tuesday, and stay open Saturday at least till noon, 1 o'clock.
this one club was closing that down on one day and Wednesday. We don't just work on Wednesday and one club. Previously, for over 30 years, we were not open on Monday mornings. So that would be my way of looking at cutting some hours.
Can't the board kind of dictate to her or no?
That's my question. I mean, who decides the hours of the library?
Yeah, I mean, you get, it's,
We can decide hours, but she gets to choose them. We
Okay.
can say you're only going to be on 32 hours, but she gets to pick which
if
ones.
you're not gonna have people coming through the door,
I
and you're
did,
gonna close down on a Saturday, close the library.
I did ask, and she said she's doing it for statistics, actually, as to the rest of your group, to track the counter, and it went off the tracks
Yeah.
of who comes in and takes books out, who comes in and sits and does puzzles, uses the computer, who just comes in, uses the bathroom, and uses it. So that we will have some stats to figure this out. And I asked him to do it on an hourly basis, and
Right.
on a day basis, so we have something on that. And at our last meeting that Mark was at on the 10th, we asked her to compile the statistics and get them to us for our number. So we will be looking into it. it's on the table.
Right. And Sunday is closed.
It's called
Well,
Sunday.
It's gotta be open Saturday, at least for now.
Virginia, the quarter of one, I can't speak to the whole board. I do, as I said, it was in our long-range plan that was included 2 years ago. They did start on 1/7. At that point, that board was in agreement, we would be able to say, we now have 3 different board members to look at that.
I'm ready now.
So it is coming up in conversations.
Do we get any income from the computers, people using the computer? They don't
It
have,
was a free service. We
Oh, okay.
also no longer, because system-wide decided to do it, it was not individual libraries.
Oh, okay.
Not to collect funds on all the Google Fonts materials.
Oh, okay.
So that has reduced one, line right there. The other
Right.
one I have concern about is the L 7410.4 library contractual expenditure. We had 6,864 in our line that I presented to one. I see it's reduced to 2,000. That is an actual contract with the Owl Library Fort County system for Evergreen software that actually runs the library software program for checking in and out books on computers. And it is currently $5,168 for 2025. Ron is not sure this looks to be next year. Ron cures that line.
Yeah.
But his estimate is going to be $7,788. And then we'll have to decide if they will subsidize part of that, and what they have to use it. So that line has got to go up somehow, because we have the money, what they want to write the check list. And I like the loans to do anything. We're ordering all the things from. That's a major hit back, the other way, I don't see it around. And I want to try to eliminate staff for hours, all consistent, run at one time. For safety sake, the law is not thinking about that, it's working on it. There's only 2 staff nurses, it's not like 2,000 per, so that's not that contract.
That'd be good. Make one line over there, video.
We're on page 12.
All right.
Well, hopefully not only 16,640, 12,000, 30,000, 30,000 is also contractual. With the Burns Taylor and Robbins, and the very contractual for my system. And that's what they have to learn is their own practice. And I think things that come out to it's work, I was thinking if I had to work this down, I have those 2 lines for apples and wheels and do it up. Let's try to cover some of that. But 4,640 hit on that, so
Yeah, was wondering, videos.
they do go out on our things. I think that's true, that they do go out, but not as much.
You missed. You get money somewhere.
Well, this is just that she is buying plus and we don't go there on these 2 weeks. That one, I was looking at ways to take care of the shortages, but they were going to throw the shortage, about that.
So there's a few other lines here that we can steal money from. One is the equipment and repair maintenance, the bill 7410 for the 43 line, which is a lot of information.
Yes. we had problems at New Year's Eve, I went in because it wasn't kicking on at all. And if someone was basically, some of this, 2,000. Well, but we have been doing it because we're getting money.
Right.
So
They
we
have a
always
certain
tend to
amount
try
in
to.
there.
But where does that fall with the whole Siemens project and everything for that?
So we're not touching the prints.
We're not.
So some of the town's budget for maintenance of that building is in the library. So,
So basically,
in the past, it hasn't been that much. I mean, all of a sudden, like last year, this year, it ballooned by $10,000.
Right.
yeah.
So we did have a very large project back in 2018 where we redid the roof, the gutters, we insulated, et cetera. And that was, fixed a lot of things in the building. That there was a grant that was coming from the library side, the town had to pay the balance. And we also had to fund all the money to get paid back. That's how the whole balance thing occurred.
But you said that was in 2018.
2018.
So 7 years, this is 7 years later.
It is, but a lot of the incidental maintenance pieces got fixed. We've not had a lot of maintenance costs on the building, and the only other problem that we've got is on the two ends where we've got some cracking in the bricks that has to be repaired. Otherwise, the building does not need it much. This year, you're seeing an estimated large cost because of the project to rip out the carpet and all that other stuff which the library has undertaken. And so that number there is what you're seeing in Baldwin's as stuff is put against that line and then other funds are shifted into that line to pay the bills.
So we just want to research for the purpose, it's got somewhere to actually want to pay out. So someone that's kind of crossing.
Well, I just, at our meeting with BBS, that number was only 10, 15, now we're out $30. So in the span of 2 weeks, somebody went back in and tried to look.
Right, Christina had to because they had money out of that line and had to move money into it. So that number gets much higher. That's it.
So anyway, that was one suggestion I had was that, does there need to reduce? The other item is the insurance expense. I thought you said that the town is paying the insurance for the library building, so why is there still $5,000 in there for insurance expense?
Because we have to show that they are paying their fair share on the insurance.
Okay, so instead of putting 0 here, because we're already covering it someplace else, we're gonna have the process be that they've got to put
Something about you
money,
to us.
Right.
money to,
And we-
Correct.
Yeah, but that's what that line's for, is
Yeah.
for the library to come back to the town.
Correct. And so I'll give you that
and then
And that's, go ahead.
and the other question I had was on utilities. I mean, the utilities in the past, you go back to 2023, I know things go up in cost, but we're closing in on double the cost for utilities. Why? Utilities are what? Water, sewer, electric, gas?
So that has to do with the addition of the charging stations out and back. The power is going to have to come out and get paid for, and then the charging stations are going to have to. We have the contract for the charging stations at the library, so we're going to see money come back into the system.
Well, you
But
say,
we are
you say
getting
that nobody's using the chargers over here.
Right.
Okay, and very well, it'll be the same over there. But we have no history of how much they're going to.
We've no
So
history.
you have a slush fund here of $16,000 to cover a lot of things over the course of the year. If there's no EVUs on the,
Was there not grant money for that charging stations?
it was part of the
Siemens project.
Yeah.
Siemens, but there is a bare minimum charge every month on that too, to the town.
Correct. They take power to charge the cars. The electric company has to be paid.
And they bill us.
The communication.
That's correct.
Right.
Right.
The communication company has to be paid. That all comes out of the library's utilities line because it's attached to the library, so that we did not have the extra cost of the meter. Then on the other end, money is paid into the system so that those folks charge their cars. The difference between the one over here and the ones over there is that you're going to have a sort of a high-speed charger at one end of the scale, and then a mid, and then one of those on the other end. You would be able to get a decent charge on a Tesla on the one end at a much higher monetary rate, over a 3-hour period, which that's that would be the only one client.
So we're paying the electric bill until we get reimbursed ourselves. So where's the revenue line for the electric that we're getting back?
The revenue line is going to end up in the utilities line. We'll end up putting it back in there.
Oh, you're just gonna use the appropriations line to show revenue?
Yeah. No, it'll end up in a revenue line. We have to create it. We don't have it. It's not in the library system. It'll end up going back to the A fund.
Okay, because I don't think we have a line in the A fund that have
There may not be one there yet.
And then what about the line for telephone expense? So actual in this year is going to be,
See, can we finish this?
Okay, no, go ahead.
Because if we're gonna get money back on the electric, then the net is something different than $16,000. So we're taking $16,000 of your budget for this purpose. If the town's gonna get money back on the A side, but it's not gonna be credited back to that $16,000.
It's not the whole system, it's only the one who's
Which is what, in the past, right, you had so maybe half of that is money that you might be getting back. Okay? So there's money there to be allocated to evergreen and a couple of other things here, but you're not gonna see it because we're taking it from one day.
providing stations actually have money.
Yeah, since we don't have a track record, we have no idea what this is going to be. So we just guess.
Well, in terms of balancing the entire budget, we should have a base side, utilities, the revenue on the electric for the TV station, the library, so that overall this balances out and not just showing an extra $16,000 cost, and no offsetting revenue, which is what we're expecting.
I'll have that revenue line, and yes, that too. But it's a yes.
Plus, those 16,000 is making the station, part of that is our.
I understand, but it seems to be about half of that is revenue, based on past.
All I understand, and I must say about that, it has to do with how frontiers increased our rates for what they're charging us.
So the library's internet is a T1 line.
so, and that falls under the telephone there, that's why the increase where that's coming from?
Correct. And we are trying to get rid of one of the old lines to try to reduce that. So it is doubled since they put the high-speed internet stuff in through the out system. So that's that we do not have to pay for the system. I thought she was making crazy outside the halls, Timbuktu and stuff. So we asked for one, and it was consistent.
So it's actually internet charges, basically.
Yeah, I think they're having a hard time keeping the T1 system in with the proliferation of fiber everywhere. Because now you can get pretty much the same kind of bandwidth with just the fiber instead of the conditioned copper, which they have to maintain. That line, especially conditioned copper, goes from that point all the way to some switching costs. At some point, Owl is going to have to look at changing over to a fiber-based system with somebody, whether it's Empire or Greenlight or whoever, because these costs are crushed with their network. And everybody in Owl, my understanding, has these T1 lines, and then they've had them for a long time. discussion is the sheet that we've got here. Right? We discovered that we were supposed to be pulling back the money from the insurance. The last one was done in 2017. The only two people who knew what was going on was Pete and the library. And Pete is gone. The librarian said nothing for 7 years. So now we have this built up bill of $27,700. It's money that's going back into the town.
It's been getting paid by us.
Right. So the last payment in 2017 was almost $3,300. We traced it back to the voucher system to see how it was done. But now Jennifer has sent over a voucher for $27,712. The library board said we would rather only pay 3 years. We don't have a restriction. It's the town's money, no matter where it's sitting. And so we have every right to go back and ask for $27,712 because that's probably half of what the mowing tractor is going to cost us in January.
Hey Debbie, as far as Leslie goes, how much can she spend? Does she have some kind of a limit as to what she can spend with board approval?
This is something we are working on. It's always in the past, up to the library, and they've always been responsible. They never had issues. And we now have 3 new policies that we're going to look at in November. I won't say too much because it hasn't been fully discussed and last year I touched on it. We're very fine with it. As far as what she's going to do about it, she's going to be up on the board and asking what kind of things she can come to the board. For example, if we will not restrict her from getting union books to the transcript to sell them with money to expect something.
Sure.
But as far as something large, like the shelving that I call Mike down, that she took off the walls,
And the desks?
and the desks, that should have been through us.
Right.
And those assets are gone.
Those were town assets, correct?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, see, that's
This is why
something.
I called Mike and said, hey, these are attached to the wall, technically we're a renter, you wouldn't take out kitchen cupboards, what do you want me to do? In the meantime, she had already gone and given up to another renter, and was very upset when I came back in and said, look,
Want to get some
I would
fence,
like it for scrap to get some money back out of them.
or just to loft them on the wall, I would say she's got to be some type of limit put on her so she doesn't get too carried away.
Comment, she took more than what she told us she was going to take down. That is something the library board is discussing. I could not answer when you were there the other night, Mark, as to whether they were original to the building. I still don't know how to look it up, but I went back and looked. The shelving all matched identical color, size, shape, etc., to what is on all the rest of the shelves. I'm sure from that I could probably say that it was originally library in the 60s when it was built.
So,
And we'll never get anything the same color.
right. So Mike, as far as the grand total here of 27,712, is there any way, just like if somebody couldn't pay it all, you set up a payment structure, is there anything going forward we can do to obtain this total amount over the next 2 or 3 years?
We can do whatever we want to do with it. There's $82,000 buried in the reserve funds, and because this was never spent all of those years, the last sheet I've got is that there's 82 now, 7 roughly available.
reserve fund balance.
So it's more like
Correct.
20,000.
Right, but over the years, as the library closed out their finances every year, that insurance money was shoved into the different reserve accounts, split up among them. That's where it's all sitting. So,
Any idea what kind of interest rate?
last 2 years, it was getting 5.25. So, we didn't calculate any of that.
Real estate technology, always existing, we really because of the computers, progress in that one.
What are we looking,
Probably with enough
Per-
software on online.
what are we looking there, Debbie? How much each one?
I don't know, I honestly don't know, we should really run what and run.
I would say upwards of
They
2.
order them and then we got their taxes on some of them as well. So that one was kind of the technology went on next to one, but the other lines, the memorials is what we've gotten in this first year. Yes, you can take it, it's memorials. Price reps, memorial specifically stated we do buy shelving to put local fiction. So it wasn't, I don't think we do much about raising any more. That would be the one,
Right, and that's all that's sitting.
and that's all that's in there.
What is
Nobody's
20?
much showing. Facility units, yes, so it's at $13,607. I don't know what's left, there's not a lot left, but we were on the smallest. And I told them, they don't know how this year she's going to line up to the next year.
Well, if we get some,
It makes some of this work. We have to do something. Shuffle hours around, makes more sense. Close the library on days when we're not gonna be busy. Some of at least one line item that I brought up with the videos. That's a couple of grand.
Wow.
It's gotta be dictated.
I'm agreeing that we need to do that, but I really,
just
I know it's not safe, but I still think to get just one person, especially when I'm at that door at the lock front. But I do think we could go back to one and not push.
Yeah.
Julie's not, you with me on that? But we did it with our reserve library.
It's done before, so it's
We
done
always
again.
had 2 step out of money for electrified.
Right.
But during the day when she was there, if she had a meeting with some money, I worked at home.
It's done before, it's been done again. And I guess,
It's not ideal. Why? I think it's good.
On this 27,000, is there a way that we can set up a payment schedule with New York City?
That's what I said.
Yeah, like to help them out instead of nailing them for the 27,000 all at once?
well,
I reserve budgets, you know.
I think the town's owed the money. I mean, it's a legitimate expense that the library should pay us. But I would subscribe to what Steve suggested too, what I was saying, is that we just spend over 3 years.
So if we go ahead and just invoice for this year, right, which is 47,1077, and then the balance is $23,001.63. If we divide that by 5, that's 4,632.33 cents.
I think that would help them out a little bit, you know. They're still our library.
For 5 years, that's what it would end up being. $4,600.33 for the following 5 years.
And we would get the credit for the for the dollars invested, they wouldn't go back, they would not get a credit for the interest drawn on that money.
So, right now, we have not gone in and figured out what the interest was on 27 cents. But we don't, we can find out.
But just remember, we didn't have your class.
At that time, back then either.
So
Yeah, the
the-
last couple of years.
So the interest from 2018 to 2023 is minimal.
So we could, again, pull back an additional 4,600. But going forward, we still have to show an insurance amount for the going forward years.
Correct.
The 4,600 is gonna have to come out of high, not an additional,
The rest of the budget,
it's not more levy from.
Right. That's it.
What did you say that this year's is going to be?
This year's is going to be $4,710.77. $4,710.77.
same as what 24 was. Should have been.
It's this payment, yeah. So, all right, then we'll go ahead with the payment schedule. We'll formalize it at the next board meeting.
Great.
And then we'll send over a voucher for the 4710.77. And that'll go from there. As far as next year, I expect the insurance bill to be probably north of $5,000. So this year, they only appropriated 4,200. The bill is 4710.77. So next year's, I will have the final insurance numbers next Thursday from the agent. So I may have to go in and make some adjustments that way too. But I'm guessing 5,000 is about it.
So are you gonna make that line like 9,000 then in 2026? Or how are you gonna track it?
So-
And have an unexpended balance somewhere? Up here.
We would have to put in unexpended balance of 4,600 for next year, and then we would have we'll call it $4,600.
So basically what I'm hearing is you're not buying into whoever voted saying that we're all going to pay 3 years, just let it report back correctly.
Correct.
And the reason being that it was some money to begin with. Because the argument is done, but it was our money, you gave it to us, and you didn't have to report back. And I know that's going to be a problem, probably going to have 5 board members and other meetings.
That's okay.
No, I'm just saying, and I understand, we had this talk, I understand where you're going, but I have to agree with this, the board, we feel this was not presented to us today on time, and therefore we really should work. It was not a statement of needs.
So Debbie, foreseeably, I know it's kind of a little hard, but other than a possible furnace improvement in the next year or two, is there anything foreseeable right now?
Not that you would not take care of, for example, the ongoing issue with the fence and the fact that those trees down, and moving the fence with those trees down, there's a couple spots, marking there, that ash tree that needs to come down before it falls on the roof. Like the little things that probably that could take care of that.
Is that something you guys can do?
Yeah, I can see if I can have I'm not 100% sure where the ash tree is, it's in the back of the building.
Back to the building, when you're proceeding this time?
Yeah.
It's right up the hill from those.
I didn't
On the other side,
It's
How big is it?
If not, let us know that we get everything thought, the service we have.
I would think.
I mean,
It's mostly stripped down.
yeah, No, I just wish it was, I would have known about it a week ago.
When you hit Caledonia here with the
Yeah, with
truck.
our bucket truck.
Yeah, we might not have been able to get in there with the truck.
I don't think
It's a long season.
Well, especially with that second, I don't know if that, well, the unit, the storage unit, secondary storage unit is still there now.
How close to the property line? About 4 or 5 feet? Somewhere in there?
You've got the fence and on the bank goes straight up.
Yeah.
You guys own the bank and the river along the top, but it's like halfway up that really steep.
Can you tip it on the other property?
Yeah, just get permission to fall the tree and get rid of it right when we fall it. Can we do that with the homeowner?
Maybe.
It's like this,
Yeah,
yeah.
Everybody else cuts trees back there without.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you weren't supposed to cut that.
Well, I did, so, just to follow up, I did take a DEC officer back there, spent the time, and we did walk it. And of course, as trees grow over time,
Right.
they were so close to the line, it was not worth splitting hairs. We came back to the board meeting and we said, what kind of neighbors do we want to be with the other neighbors?
That's fine.
So,
I just never heard what the end result was.
I know.
Wandered through the brush myself to look to see that land.
Well, then, you give them a tree, you shouldn't have any problem throwing, falling that tree on this property like anything with it for you guys, but that is your neighbors.
you
Yeah,
gotta really watch it.
yeah.
Okay.
All
So,
right.
as we've been moving through this, the sticking points then have been the amounts for staff salary, and what we're coming back with is go ahead and cut out some of the hours. That should keep it at 62 grand. As far as the library contractual expense, that is where they are paying on the software, which they expect the raw cost of that to be $7,700. So L 7410.4, we would probably have to restore that back to 6,500.
This is the sheet, under the request is how many, 66. Right.
Right. So push that back to 68, 60.
Which line's that, Debbie?
L 7410, actually, 2023 was 20,794, and 2024 was 19,000. We have to go down. We're down to 16 last year and 16 this year.
It would be interesting if they could come up with some numbers, total numbers for the week as well as what days and busy days.
And they have to do information on it, I'm not going to.
No, I'm not, I'm just saying though, if books aren't going out and people aren't coming through the door, there's no sense of spending money.
I don't want to spend any more money on books than we're looking here, because we have two small warehouses full of books. And all we're doing is moving books from one building to a storage shed.
A lot of those are probably his donations, comments. I mean, I've, a huge box this year.
Okay.
People are moving out, because they want to feel or outreach, and they literally get so many donations being in the door.
The library's not getting bigger.
This is true, we are,
And it seems to me that, from what I heard, there's more electronic book usage.
yes, there is a lot of people. But in the library, those, actual hardcovers going in and out. buy a lot, my hardcover EJs, they sell $22 to $25. The price of books has just gone exponential.
Right. So, we're leaving this where it is for now.
That's right. That's right.
Leave it at 16,640, or you're going 16 even?
But we've got it dropped to 12.
You've got it dropped to 12, okay.
We're looking at the 2026 program.
Gotcha. I see it over here. Yeah, I'm sorry.
So, we're looking at keeping that there.
Okay.
All right, other questions, Debbie, with the library?
That was the big points I really had. The other stuff is just base stuff, we can move stuff around to do something with it. But they really they have a losing room, so to speak, because there's nothing I can do about that.
Not to be the dead horse, but that $2,000 for videos, I mean, is that needed or could they
That's
go
what I'm
somewhere
saying,
else?
we're thinking maybe I could move some of the videos and periodicals and use that textbooks.
Right, and then the way our system is set up, when they do that, then on
That
next
money-
year's line, they have already reallocated it, right? And said, okay, this one is dropped down $400, and this other one was increased, so it's what it's supposed to be. And so, it'll end up showing in the estimated line, or the estimated.
The only problem with that is we would go that this year, so it already shows that 16,000 we're asking for already is showing that we've used part of video and periodical this year to cover some of the decline. Even though it doesn't show on your paperwork, we have moved money from one account to another to cover accounts that were short. And we did the same with utilities and the telephone line, try to cover that telephone line, because there was nowhere enough for that to double for 6 months. So some of it, where it looks a little padded, is because these other lines have not been, they've come up quite short. And as I said, I tried anywhere I could to get to that 2% and not to go over. But raising minimum wages for New York State, which they don't have a choice on that one either. You go to 50 cents for all of our part-timers.
Right.
And that's all we've got is part-timers over manager.
Okay,
So,
all right, we're set, we can go to the next section. So Sean has a short stop, so we're gonna go back and start right up at the front for the A lines that govern them. So we're looking at page.
Debbie does make the statement.
Correct. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
thank you everyone for hearing me out.
Okay, so we're looking at page 3, starting with A5010.1. That is the salary line there, which is staying as is for the next year.
And Sean, no offense to you, I'm agreeing with that.
Agree with
Because
that?
we're having money discussions with Mike about it.
Yeah.
But as far as your salary is concerned, I honestly would have thought that that salary would have gone down for this year. And I'm just telling you flat out, my thoughts on this, I'm not changing the number now at this point, but we've done studies on looking at what this position is relative to the entire county. Okay? And the analysis shows we overpay this position, nothing to do with you personally. We overpay this position by about $16,000. Okay? So by keeping this salary where it is without adding increase, we make up some of that because all the other supervisors are probably going to get, superintendents are probably going to get an increase in 2026. Going forward, I'm not saying we're not going to give raises myself. There's 5 board members that have to decide that, but you're doing a super job. And if you keep up what you're doing and you do that kind of work, yeah, I think you're going to be entitled to a raise. Okay. But if we get the same kind of crap that we got from John Sokolowski, no.
Yeah.
And I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I've already seen, and I know you working with Keith, you're going after a revenue that was never some after the
Yeah.
court. So obviously that'll help us in the revenue side. I mean, there's gonna be some big changes here over the next couple of years coming forward, obviously, good changes.
It's
So-
keeping our guys from quitting like every 6 months. Would be a good thing.
Yeah. You had brought up when we had a conversation yesterday, something to do, John missed some kind of a thing with,
John was supposed to file something that had to do with our ability to move our trucks around the road.
It's the US dot permit.
Right, it's the dot permit, the number on the doors.
yeah.
So we're now a year past due, so we are subject to a $10,000 fine.
Doesn't mean they're gonna hit us, but we're subject.
We're subject to it. They did not send us the invoice.
Did you check your email? Thanks for John.
From John?
Yeah.
So I have between Sean and Jen, paperwork's gotta get put in.
Okay.
We're a year late. I expect that once we file, they'll figure out how much they're gonna charge us.
Okay.
I also expect that this is not the last one of these that we're gonna trip over. So we'll go through that pile of mail that was sitting at the post office.
Yeah.
That was never delivered, and all the other junk. So we can get this out.
Yeah, we will do.
But it's just the if
Yeah. And now you know there is a PO box before you.
I actually had it switched. Yeah, I didn't even know we had a PO box.
Right.
Yeah, I had it switched to the
Highway garage.
yeah, the highway garage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was like, there's a mailbox on the front of the place. So I don't know.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Well, so that cuts us what, $100 a year. So, all right. So A5010.4, that's the contractual expense that got pushed up because we are going to be having to send Sean to school twice in 2026. Once in January and then once again in May or June.
The January one kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Terrible timing.
Oh, it is. But we only send folks to that after the election cycle. That's what it's for.
Yeah.
We send you once,
Okay.
and that's what it is.
All right.
And then the other one is the different one
in June.
in June.
The garage contractual expense there, tracking what we're doing this year, I pulled the $5,000 out of it. We haven't spent this year what we were. So at A50-132.4. The only other items that are in the A budget that would affect Sean would be slightly further up page 3, it says it's 83310.4. That's the traffic control, and then the pavement markings. So the first one is for signage. The other one is for painting stripes and stuff like that.
Which stripe painting is going to be done early October, and that'll be pretty much used up.
So we really expect to spend $8,500 on signage?
So this is the second year I've tried to do this. A 2-pack of those solar-fed electronic signs that will go in too fast.
Yeah.
And then say thank you, that we can start to install around the community to
Okay.
try and get the traffic to slow down.
I know we've talked quite at length about those.
Yeah, and these would be more permanent installs, rather the one we own is kind of a kludgy, temporary thing. These would be
And the other ones you can also take like stats off of it of like how fast people are traveling through those roads and things like that.
Right.
but if we can pick up a few of these, we can probably start to clamp down at least on some of the speeding. Everywhere that I drive down through Geneseo and all those other places, they've started to install them. It at least gets you to slow down. Too fast, your speed, and then
Or they take a picture of your license plate?
it does not.
No.
It does not. So, but that's why that number is like that.
Okay, and then our contractual with the school resource officer, that is going to be hard and fast number at 26 this year. And where does that, and I know we're getting ahead, but that drops what to next year?
So last year, we had put in, dropping out, what, $9,000? Something like that?
Yeah. This has been reduced from
Yeah.
last year.
This is
I
already.
know it's come down, but so the hard number's going to be 26 for 26?
The hard number is going to be 26. Remember, that line is not just for that. That line is also for everything that has to do with the trooper barracks.
Okay.
All of the maintenance for the court building comes out of that line.
So we started out at 38
Right.
proposed. We took out 12
12.
because of the reduction of the
Mhm.
SRO. So we would have had 26 here anyway because of the ones.
And then,
next year it should be another 12.
12.
Depends on what's negotiated again.
Right.
It's another
Yeah,
negotiation.
it's another drop.
and I know I've asked this before, and do we get any kind of income from New York State for the troopers being here?
We do not.
We don't.
We do not. We lease it to them for $1 a year that is never paid. But we do not get any money from New York State for the way station.
There's no other perks, nothing attached to it.
The only other perk is that they park the cars out there and they're here occasionally, and that's really all it is.
I mean,
Does the village
having
get
a
any,
presence.
does village get anything for them parking in their barn?
I do not know.
Parking in their barn.
Yeah, they park their
They
trooper
park
car
at night.
in there and
The cruisers go down there at night.
Yeah, they go at night when they get off.
Yeah, the spare car is up here. The other ones are actually locked up down there. So, all right, so that's all of Sean's stuff that's in the A fund. If we can go ahead and flip to DA.
So if money isn't used in an account, what happens to it, like, at
So-
the end of the year?
At the end of the year, then all of the accounts are even so that nothing is negative. And then the balance is put into the unreserved fund balance for that account. So for DA, if we had $10,000 that we did not spend, it would show up. If you look at page 8, it would show up in that unreserved fund balance line.
Okay.
That's where it ends up going. And that fund balance is then available to either be transferred to the equipment reserve, the gravel reserve, or the bridges reserve, or to be used on some other thing during the year, if it were needed.
Okay.
Once we shove it into one of the equipment reserve, one of the reserve accounts, there it sits. So we either have to buy a bridge, buy gravel, or
So speaking of the bridge, Jennings Road, met with a couple contractors about it. And we have to, go through with the county and get the approval for it, but to get those pipes relined, basically get a giant 8-foot pipe for both of them, put it inside, fill it full of concrete on the inside. The pipe for each one is like $1 grand a piece, and then the fill on that and it'd be like another 20, so probably in like $60,000 range. I know John previously wanted to do the box culvert that cost $1 million.
Well, I guess I'd like to know the specs, what they're expecting on those pipes, because I have a couple resources that maybe would cost us a heck of a lot less than 20,000 a pipe. But I'm sure it's got to be code, some kind of spec and code, but I'd like to know that.
Those are also an aluminized pipe, not a straight steel.
They're not
pipe.
steel.
The steel ones have like a life expectancy of like 30 years, and the aluminized pipe had a life expectancy of 100.
Okay, this is the dip that is west of Phoenicians or east?
East.
East.
Those two, where there was that sinkhole.
Okay,
Yeah.
so, before you head up the hill.
Yeah.
Alright.
And
So,
there's-
do we have to put in guardrails there also? 'Cause you
No,
could lose a car.
that was part of that price is I extended the pipe like 10 feet to have an additional 5 feet on each side if eventually we had to put in guardrails there.
So you're telling me steel could be a possibility, just that they're expecting 30 years versus 100.
Yeah.
I
And
see.
it's like the difference of like $5,000 per pipe. And that's through, Shamong Supply.
So Sean, would they just, that boiler pipe would be left there, you would just slide into it?
Yeah, so there'd be a two-part pipe, one would go in one side, and because there's two pipes that are like kind of lined up together, you go a little bit smaller, slide it in one side, slide it in the other side, they have a certain type of band on the inside that tightens it together and secures it, and then there's, do like a flowable fill to fill in the rest of the void with concrete between the two
Where you
pipes.
slid in?
Yep.
Oh, I see, okay.
So to do that, you're gonna have to divert the water for a few days?
But you'd probably do one pipe and then you're just gonna divert it into the one and then the next day or however long, switch it and then do it.
I'd still like to know what size they're gonna be. I'd like to see what I can come up with for you. No, I know, but
They're like,
they're
I went and looked at it
are
with
they 8-foot diameter?
I went and looked at it with Keith, that's what we imagined, he's like, I touched 8 feet, and that's
Okay.
like right where Sam was. And he was the one that suggested reaching out to Shimon Supply.
That would be a good spot for there, because it's a pretty good drop off.
Yeah, anywhere that we can lose a car, and wonder where to land.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
not many places, but
that's
that
one,
is one.
yeah, for sure, and,
So there's 2 8-foot culverts.
yeah. Why? Well, because the creek alone is like 30 feet
I
wide.
know, but it's not that defined.
I know. I mean, they only fill up to half, but
It's been so flat, it's actually.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think there's much, should have driven down through there when we had all that rain, to see just how far.
yeah,
So anyway,
yeah.
Well, are we gonna try to budget something for that? We're only putting $5,000 in for bridge repair. Which I'm assuming is.
Right.
Is what's for this purpose.
the bridge reserve is for the bridge on Clary Road.
So we don't have anything in the.
Correct. And so Sean was asking about, unreserved fund balance, and, would there be enough in there to just go ahead and take it out of something? And the answer is maybe. It depends on how this year shapes out.
Yeah, I was just wondering.
Once the snow season starts, then we're able to go ahead and place some revenue into DA 2302 and 2302A. On page 7, if we can keep generating revenue in that spot, then it's probably over and above what it's going to be.
Sean, you and Keith walk down there, the galvanized culvert, the mirror,
Yeah.
up against that. What kind of shape do they look?
There's holes.
Oh, there is one.
Yeah, there's holes. Where the sinkhole came from was the joint, because
Yeah.
one pipe is like offset from the other. And then on the walls of the pipe, there's
So you
holes.
lost your support there and it finally
Yeah,
gave
and
way.
then, water coming through probably just ate away some of the material and
So how close to these numbers are we gonna, obviously you have November and December possibly for use on the highway. Do we know where we're probably gonna end up with the county and the state for the year, payments from them? It's-
So it's hard to say. It all depends on Sean. If the weekend runs, regardless of what's going on, get kept up with, you'll be pulling in almost an extra 40,000 for the
Oh, okay.
And that's the revenue we've been missing for the last 5 years.
Correct. So my question then to take that a little farther, when he gets his paperwork done back into the county and the state, what is the reimbursement time? Where's the cycle?
So everything comes through the county, and it's monthly, it should be. So depending on there's a cutoff date every month. But if
So we are reimbursed monthly after the paperwork goes in?
Right.
Okay, that's with the county. What about the state?
So the same thing. Because
Same with them.
The Livingston County actually handles all the transactions.
Okay, all right.
And they make us whole, and they bill New York State. New York State did not pay Livingston County for the first 5 months of the year. And everybody's getting a little nervous because they've been paying all the towns. But they finally came up with money. Which, it's just a bunch of games. But that's how it is.
And the county pays for snow fence on all county roads?
And the state.
And the state pays for
And the
state
state.
roads?
So I've noticed
There's
there's,
a lot on the state.
Sean, there's spots in the last year or two that we historically have done, like up by the golf course. I don't think it was done this year.
It wasn't, that's why it was
So,
terrible.
yeah, I mean, there was lost revenue right there.
Yeah.
So my question is, do we not have enough snow fence? Do we need to go out and buy some more to obtain?
We are gonna need to get more snow fence. That's a fact. The stretch that we do on Livonia Center, we always do it with wood. Last year, we've come up with a way that we were able to put snow fence up way more efficiently with plastic.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we spend almost like 3 or 4 days putting up snow fence on just that stretch on Livonia Center before
Is that the curve?
on the curve
Yeah.
there. We could have it knocked out in, probably less than a day if we were to do it all with plastic. It's just phasing out the wood.
Right.
The wood is so, you get a section that's the length of this table, and then you have to stretch that, and then tie it all up, and then tie it into another section of fence, stretch the length of the table. Like, it's monotonous and terrible, and they're old, and they're brittle and break.
So, and there is no time restriction other than farm crops coming off fields. If it's a non-farm field, can you start end of October, or when do you like to start?
Well, probably end of October. Yeah, but if we're able to
So
get
6
in-
weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks away to start.
Yeah.
I remember, Sean, Livonia Center, Pepper Hill, I coming home, I turned around, because you couldn't even see down the road.
Yeah.
It was not good. You
Yeah.
could see the top of the telephone pole, that's about it.
Why the six foot simple?
With the way that we were able to stretch it.
Looked like the
last year,
plastic did well.
The plastic did really well. I think we had one break. One just between posts break.
Is it where do they go, linear foot, or how do they pay on it, you know?
I'm pretty positive it's linear foot. And I know John last year just went out and counted posts, but you're not getting, you're going further than that each time. You don't have exact. I plan on this year walking it. We have one of the walking
You have a
wheels.
wheel?
We have a wheel. Walking it with a wheel is way more
Efficient.
yeah, and it's probably going to be longer than just counting posts.
Absolutely. Good. Good.
Okay, so page 7, revenue side, that is what we're looking at in taxes. That's what we expect from New York State and back to Livingston County. And then moving down through, we just did get a interest rate. The interest rate came down, New York Classic is coming down. As the Fed just pulled the
0.25%, right.
So, if they're doing that 2, 3, 4 times a year, we'll watch our stuff come down also. This is my best guess on where we'll land interest-wise.
Is that
scrap and excess, that's anybody's guess. We don't know what we're gonna come up with, but it's just something, a placeholder. If we are going to be moving some of the equipment down the road, I put in 10 grand.
Right now, we know the six-wheeler for sure.
Right, which would be on the B fund or the A fund, depending on where we're ending up buying it out of. That's where we would put the return for.
Hey, Sean, is the truck sold up there, that's sitting there, is that been sold or not? Still there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Are we gonna pay for it?
Do whatever you want, Mike.
Paint flames on the hood. All right, so this year, no unexpended balance, to balance off the other things. General government support, that covers the non-building items that are over at the highway department. So the stocking of the first aid case, the water cooler, et cetera. That's
We do something temporary for a salt shed, or something.
something temporary for us all shed.
You guys went with it.
Okay, so I had, when I went on vacation, actually the other day, I was going out of town for business, even hearing my phone call. Sounds like they will help us a little. I guess we need to run back up there. The husband himself called me back, talked to the wife there.
And
Stevens. And he has some blocks. He will work with us. He is very unreceptive to using the old Shanks building. He is looking right now, he is pretty hard steadfast with a renter coming in there. And he says, and I understand, he says, I don't want any salt damage to the bottom of that. You know, it's been up for a while, and to replace any of that tin, the sidewalls and stuff. And he says, it's only temporary, could we use cement blocks? He goes, well, I don't want to be a hard ass on it, but I will help you where I can. But if I can come up with some blocks, would that help? I said, absolutely, because that was something, talking with Sean, we could look at, again, for down the road, actually keeping them and using them to put stone product in or chipping, whatever we're doing. But either if you can run back up there or this coming week, we need to run back and see him and see what he's come up with on some blocks. And then, Mike, the only other thing I was wondering about is going after the power company. If there's any way of getting some poles to put up and support them in there, again, doing short term here, to kind of use some heavy tarps or something so these guys aren't still going out with tarps and uncovering.
right, so you're looking for used telephone poles.
That's correct.
Right, so the key word there is telephone. So when the power company moves over to the new one, they cut off the top 6 feet and they walk away.
Right.
And so the 6-footers won't help us. The balance of the utilities that are on the pole, they end up with them. And so it ends up being either Frontier or Spectrum if they're the only one, etc., if they ever come back to move them. So think about driving from 5 and 20 down Clay Street. You've got poles on both sides of the road because the telephone company left their line there rather than pay $100 a pole to attach to the brand new ones that are on the west side of the road. Notwithstanding, we had a guy drive into one of the old poles and die. There's a wreath hanging out there, and it's a brand new pole that the telephone company had to put up. But we don't get them from anybody except if we happen to be standing there when either Spectrum or Frontier moves their wire, because then they're required to either cut the pole down or yank it and take it away. The game has kind of changed on all of it. They used to let the power company do the whole thing and all that.
Well, there is, going back to the steel pipe, there is a big yard in Pennsylvania that specializes in things like that, not just wooden poles, steel poles. And I'm gonna continue to look, see if I can come with an answer before the next board meeting. But just, again, we're talking for these guys to be out there at 2 o'clock in the morning, dealing with wind and snow and trying to take care of a tarp. Just trying to see what we can come up with to help short term. And like they're talking with Sean, we are not gonna probably hear anything on that till December, January at best, if we
Right,
have
and
any
then
money coming back.
Construction will be next year.
Correct.
If we're
Correct.
successful. That's
So-
if not, then we need to look at doing something else.
If we just did block, nothing covering it, and you scooped in, and you're gonna get snow on top of the salt, but it's gonna melt pretty quick, I would think, when that's sitting on a pile of salt. And you could go up 4 courses of block with a backing,
Yeah.
and at least you would,
I mean, at least having a backing and walls
a containment of sorts.
would help exponentially. I mean, especially if we were gonna try and put it right back where the old barns were just torn down. I mean, we have, what, 10 feet of dirt on the sides of the walls, just like helping support the old
Correct.
walls
So-
that are there, and like trying not to scoop into dirt and rock and concrete that you can't see.
In talking to Stevens up there, he said you could logistically go, you wouldn't go any higher than 3 blocks, which you go, and I think each block, they figured, what, a
Like
little over 3
2 or 3 feet.
3
yeah.
feet, so you'd be up 9 feet, let's say. And that would, even in the back, and if you tapered it down to 2 in the front, I mean, anything's gonna help.
Right.
That's what I mean.
We would just need to know what they're gonna cost.
And I will, we'll have an answer at the next board meeting, I guarantee it.
So with the block up, put some dirt up against them all the way around.
Correct.
And then forget this, trying to put a roof over it.
Yeah, I would,
Whatever.
Mike, are we getting ahead of ourselves here a little bit? Because isn't there further in the budget, you're gonna talk about how we're gonna share the salt costs with the village?
Correct.
And we will use their shed for our salt for winter.
it's not very big though, don't
I
forget.
understand that.
Okay.
How often
I guess-
can you get like a loan, like you start using a lot of salt, get a loan every day?
Probably just have it reoccurring. Probably.
All right, I'm sorry I brought it up, we'll keep
Yeah.
moving here.
All right,
That's
so, going down through on page 7, are there any questions with any of those things?
So, brush and weeds, does that figure anything in with the cemeteries, or where is that just roadside?
1 or 4. So personal service, and/or contractual expense, both of those lines are up. 1 for salary, and 1 for, whatever else we have to buy in order to perform brush needs.
Okay.
The cemetery mowing is back underneath the A budget.
Okay, I see it, yep, all right.
And there, so, bottom of page 3 there.
Right.
That section has been gutted. So we're down to next to nothing. Going forward, we'll be relying on the highway department, so the brush and weeds lines.
So for right now, that's just gonna figure into, average into, their wage, daily wage,
We're just,
basically.
we're just going to end up paying the highway department to maintain the cemeteries.
Okay.
Are you guys gonna switch over to the home and
Maybe, probably, I don't know, I haven't talked to them about it.
Okay, any other questions on DA?
No.
Okay, moving to DB, so page 9.
I did have one question about the state retirement and social security.
Where,
It's 89,000, 89,000.
Right, we were understaffed, but that's based on full load. Yeah.
Sean, the first guy to pick up the newest guy? The Ford or the Dodge? The newest guy you hired, he's working?
Yeah, he started yesterday.
Okay.
Okay, on the DB side, the sales tax, I pushed most of the sales tax revenue into here. B would be the other recipient of sales tax revenue. That is coming down at the county level. Over the last 2 years, it's gone up and up and up. This year, we're back to where we were 2 years ago, and the trend is down. So it's either not enough gasoline, or not enough cars, or not enough whatever being purchased inside Livingston County. It doesn't matter if it's just the town of Lima. Everything gets aggregated in the county and then gets spread out over the population. But the bulk of the sales tax is going into this fund.
On DB 1120. And then what is, again, if you could remind me, what is 2300 paid?
So that's services to other governments, New York State, and then services to other governments, Livingston County. So what gets put revenue-wise in here, this is mowing in the summer. Think of this as the summer revenue source,
Gotcha.
right? The DA carries the winter thing, plowing and all that. So at New York State, we do not do their mowing. The $3,000 there, we left a marker because last year we did take in some for moving trees off the highway during that storm. It's always something minor. That's
The majority's going to come out of Livingston County.
the majority will be out of Livingston County. So, and that could be doing culverts here, it could be mowing, it could be that we send the trucks out to go around.
I mean, that went up like from 13,000 to 40.
Yeah, well, if we're working all the time,
Right.
catching every opportunity we can,
That's good then.
that's actually a realistic number. We saw it go down to 0.
Okay.
Otherwise, New York class will be down a little bit. Again, sales of equipment, if we're, possible. And then that's the CHIPS funding that would be spread across CHIPS, Pave New York, Extreme Winter Recovery, and the pothole program.
And there is another avenue of more money yet, possibly, right? You
What's
covered with Keith?
Yeah, so that's that.
That would be part of that number?
Yes, yeah.
So that's what we're expecting to get in
Okay.
there. A little bit of unexpended balance to balance up the appropriations, and then moving into the repair service, the salary reimbursement for employees, general repairs, etc. Capital outlay improvement that matches the CHIPS line, so taking it in and then spending it out. The machinery, equipment, and capital outlay. Sean, I know you asked for $100,000 here, and it's got 30.
Okay.
Otherwise, it would have been a fairly decent
Increase.
increase in the tax base.
What are you targeting? More?
Not out of B.
No.
This side is the trucks, the
If
10.
anything, didn't 10-wheeler or even like one of the 1-tons, like the Dodge.
Right, so the 10-wheelers out of DB right now, everything else out of DA. So
those salary lines went up 4%. Any other questions then?
Is this where you bump up the salt, pay for the load of salt?
Yes.
I think it's where you bump up.
Right. So I did sit down and speak with the mayor regarding the fire and ambulance contracts. What I had offered him was that we would take up the village's salt contract for 5 years. That represents right now 11,700-ish, 12,000 this year. And then we would be transferring 10,000 a year to the village for maintenance of the park to cover the costs of mowing and painting and the other things. To give them 22,000 for budget relief, they can then apply to the fire department. This would allow us to not have to renegotiate our contract this year, which we do have a contract for a 1% increase on the fire piece. So with that small increase and then the other $22,000, the fire department would be getting just about what they asked for, just about.
How about the ambulance? Anything there?
So the ambulance, we had talked through all of the different pieces. I did not place anything in the budget other than what the contract is that we've done. So not an extra $25,000, but a 12% increase. 2 years ago, I had tried to get the ambulance to be split on our tax bill so that it was transparent, so that you could see. Right now, it says fire district, and all the ambulance money is buried in it. Even the fire chief made an error, I believe, on his submission to us, thinking that all of that money was coming to him, when $20,000 was peeled off to go toward the debt for the ambulance facility.
Which soon will be paid for, correct?
I believe 3 years or 4.
3.5, 4 years.
4 years.
Another 4.
Yeah. So another 4 years of that piece, but the ambulance corps would like us to fund people to work during the days.
That's correct. At our last meeting, if you remember and listened to Megan, it's not the money, it's the people. So, money's not the problem right now.
Well, not for normal operation.
Not for normal
They
operation.
want to hire
Yeah.
full-time people.
If they
So
have
that
to,
becomes a money problem.
then that is correct, Mark, yes. Currently with the way it's laid out, right now, but if they have to go to a paid staff, then we have to come up to a alternative program, a hybrid.
Because I think that happens someday. Oh, they could throw in fire and ambulance eventually. Are any towns doing that now, Steve?
Well-
Paying full-time?
Yeah, but Honey Eye Falls, Mendon,
Yeah.
right along.
Livingston County is the first county in New York State with countywide ambulance service.
Oh, okay. No, I know.
That's eventually where we're going to end up. It's just what it is. Spreading 15 ambulances and all the personnel and all that over the entire county makes the blow on the taxes a lot easier. For us to come up with $150,000 annually for just 2 people weekdays, which then if it has to be 4 or 6 or 8, I mean, now you're talking $900,000 a year. And I don't see it. So at any rate, that's what I spoke with the mayor about, and waiting to hear back on those things, that the appropriation for salt and for the park piece is in.
Which hopefully they could use some relief from the salt situation, because the biggest hack in the village is salt shake, as much salt as possible, and get daily drop-offs, the same,
Yeah.
so you're ready for the storm.
Yeah.
And if we can go in with piles, then it's a lot, you don't have to account for
Well,
it.
yeah, if all of a sudden, thought, well, we don't want to make this bigger now, but just those lock outside of the existing shed to give more quantity at the time. Is that be doable?
What do you mean? Oh, like spread walls outward.
Yeah,
you're
like
saying.
the existing sheds here like this, and then just stack some blocks further out to give more, be able to hold more.
Probably do something like that.
I mean, the biggest thing, we go back up, see what he's thinking for a price on blocks.
Yeah,
probably
that's the
not
big
going
one
up
right
until
there,
what?
see where he wants to be.
Okay. All right. Sean, I know you had a hard stop.
Yep.
So are there any other questions for Sean? We've touched on all the pieces of the budget. There it is.
Good luck.
Other than that, just quick going into, there's nothing right now with blades or anything we're gonna have to order for these trucks for winter, unforeseen.
Not ordered. There, I would like to get some new springs in trucks, and there's definitely going to be some sections of blades that need to be replaced.
Springs for the blades,
Yeah,
blade mounts.
yeah.
Well, thanks for what you do, Sean. It's a big improvement from what we had.
Yeah.
We appreciate what you do.
I do appreciate it.
Thank you.
You guys have a good rest of your time in the meeting, and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Go
Go
back,
Bills.
go Bills, baby.
See you, Bruce.
See you in a bit.
I can't even get an MTV, fuckers. All right, what's the next one?
Maddox playing the game tonight. Okay, so then we'll start right back on page 1. Going down through, if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask. I did have to invent a number for the sales tax for the cannabis. That has to come in on the A side. Right now, the chosen pot dispensary is about to open over near.
Oh, they don't, the wrong thing there, and
Yeah.
package out.
So we're entitled to 3% of sales, so we'll see what they do.
Does that come directly to us, or does it get
It
funneled through
goes
the county?
to Livingston County, they strip off 1%. They do, and they send us the 3.
Okay.
I've been talking with Andrea Bailey because the system appears to be broken in Albany. No surprise.
No.
But because the cannabis tax is not collected on the same cycle as the sales tax from the comptroller's office, the two of them are having a hard time figuring out when to send checks. And so we'll see.
So a couple things, Mike. It's not really a budget, but so much as it's a process thing. When we can build from Jim Campbell in the future, can you like put the different, A, B, EAEB, water districts, split the bill so that it comes in, all this stuff belongs with water district 5, or all this stuff belongs with.
Right, so last month, he added a column to his bill, and he did that.
Okay.
And I only had to correct one of them, so it was fairly accurate. But prior to that, I review the entire bill and I write in the margin which fund it comes out of, so that then the deputy clerk can go ahead and allocate it into the different spots.
Well, I think this number's high partly because this is May 14th, 2024, because of the union stuff, we're still not resolved that yet, so we're exactly what. But our legal is creeping up.
I brought that up to Jim, and
It's not
nothing against Jim, I know, and of course with the water district and everything going on, but Mike, do we really need Jim at every meeting going forward at times?
So some supervisors will not hold any meetings without the attorney. I'm not one of them.
Yeah.
And there are times when we don't need legal representation.
Correct.
out, whether he's physically there or on the phone.
So if he calls in, it's the same.
Dumb
amount of
question.
money, right?
The hourly rate, man.
He gets paid for being there, but if you're at work or at something and I am, our vote don't count, we have no say in the matter.
Yeah.
It's just, to me, that's whatever.
I think there was a time when his time spent at the meeting was a large part of the deal. But it's not that anymore. A large part of his time is going through emails, going through contracts, going through all the documents in his office. That's the chunk of the building. So even if we told him, hey, don't come to the meeting, which I don't like doesn't like, I don't think that's the majority of his time anymore.
And a lot
I
of
read every single invoice, and that's.
people don't realize that every time he gets an email, he has to bill us. Some of it was meeting with private citizens over complaints. Some of it was meeting with John over different things that happened during the year that helped to run the bill. I don't know that we'll go over that. And again, that amount there, because right now we have no end in sight on the union contract. I had to appropriate enough money to keep feeding the other law firm. Because we're essentially paying two of them right now.
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure that the water district stuff slipped out of there and start going to the water district.
No, it will come, yeah.
What line is that on again, Mike?
So it's A 1420.4. That's law contraction.
Because we don't have anything budgeted in water district in 5 years. But I think you were waiting.
We do not. 1420.4 is the size.
And is some of the next line down, elections contract, just working thinking on form, is some of that $4,000 kind of because we were doing a lot of advertising and stuff for the water district, and now it's going to be lower because of that cost to go to the water district?
You're on election subtraction?
No, the next one's in there.
Below engineer.
Yeah, elections contractual.
Yeah.
Some of that was for the water votes.
Well,
So-
I don't know.
No, so the water vote, we never budgeted for.
Right.
And that money gets charged off to the water district anyway. We'll see that come back.
But we're not
That-
inflating this budget now because of it, right?
No, we're not. The $4,000 is roughly what it costs us annually to put on the elections here. The only ones we don't have to pay for are village elections. Anything that happens in the town as far as a primary or any kind of runoff at the state and federal level that people have to come and vote, we have to pay for.
That falls in our lap, but a
And
village pays the village
The
election.
village pays the village election pieces, but otherwise, anything above that, we have to pay for the election inspectors and any other charges that come from the board of elections come out of that line. So, every year I'm holding my breath because if there's a runoff or a primary or something like that, that eats up that line just as much as it will in November.
Well, I have one other question on this, is central comm systems, that includes Skyport, right? It's like 60,000, complicated.
Yes, that includes Skype.
But is it more than Skyport in there? Because I don't think Skyport's budget on that. We negotiated 2.5% increase for multiple years, and we're still within that 2.5%. So if the 2025 estimate was
50.
57, the budget 55. I don't know what the estimate's so much lower than the 60 for actual work. Go up to 60,000, so
So I can tell you that the 3 computer replacements that were scheduled this year have been done.
okay, so some has to be equipped.
Right. We had planned to, because the PCs were all Windows 10 and aging out, and we were trying to pick up 3 a year. We've not done the 3 this year yet.
And has he given us his forecast plan yet this year?
I've not gotten forecast from him either.
Okay.
We did spend a bunch of money converting over our system to the new fiber, rewiring the whole thing, moving all the switchgear out of Jennifer's area, other side of the wall. Most of the wiring for that was done by volunteers, So it didn't cost anything to pull the Cat 5 cables and all that other stuff. But there was some cost in there.
I'm
for some-
gonna pay him for his budgetary plan.
And the unallocated insurance covers what? The 54?
That's the town's insurance policy.
That is our insurance policy.
Yeah. So, and that's a guess. Like I said, I'm not gonna have the numbers until Thursday.
But we know it's going up. Yep.
House and car insurance over 50%.
Yeah, so, I mean, the good news is that the cyber insurance piece, because Cyport stays on top of it, everybody's doing their online trainings, everything's good. We do save a bunch out of that line that we would otherwise have to pay to the insurer.
We've been discovering from time to time that we don't have things that are on the insurance policy. Do you think that we've got everything covered now? All
So
vehicles, everything?
we got snaked this spring because somebody forgot to put the truck on the insurance. So,
Yeah.
and they didn't take the one we sold off. So that got fixed. The balance of it, anytime something comes in, everything has to get juggled.
But, I mean, nobody really keeps track of it. I mean, it kind of falls in Sean's lap. If you've got a new piece of equipment, you should be asking the question,
Right.
is it on the insurance policy? And get the information to the insurance company.
Correct. And that's why we have an annual insurance review, so that we never go more than 12 months out of swing.
Hey, Mike,
Yeah.
what's the control of animals? It costs us $6,100. Who the hell does that?
So we pay Livingston
Livingston
County,
County Animal Control.
the
I
animal
never seen
control
them.
people. Well, they're pretty stealthy though. They come out and, so we are paying for we pay for outside the village for animal control. We also pay for the entire park. The village did not want to participate in that, but we had 3 years ago, we had 2 dog attacks. Tom Reynolds had to go get a full course of rabies shots, had his arm fixed, and all that. And then that other guy that lived on the park side, he went out and he got bit.
Yeah, but what good is it, are they doing? I mean, the attack is gonna happen, they're not gonna be around, we might better up insurance in that regard.
So the insurance did cover us for the park piece, because part of our insurance bill is we hold the insurance for the park, the whole thing.
The village has something.
The village does not pay the insurance. And the odd thing is that you can't just insure a field. You can only insure the buildings with the associated property. And so we're insuring the pavilion, the chow hut, and now the dog park pavilion that got added. And then all of the land associated with it, so we cover it. The village uses the same insurance company, but they're not insuring the park because our policy and preference is that's the park insurance.
This is all through NYMER.
But even still, they brought it up there, $7,000 for control of animals, I mean, that's ridiculous.
We pay into it like most of the other municipalities do, and if anybody outside the village can call them 24/7, they'll come out and grab a dog, they'll hunt them down in the neighborhood, etc. And the other issues that we had outside the village have fairly much stopped, because now that's what it is. If you don't have this, our only recourse is to get Charlie out of bed and have him go walking around looking for a dog.
That's what I was gonna ask, is this a mandatory line item?
So it is not mandatory. This is something that we've done to, fulfill
So,
the dog.
just like Mark would ask about statistics and stuff, I'm asking, how many times a year, do we know how many times they get called to Lima?
We do. I can have them pull the report again.
Just
That
be,
price is set. I mean,
The price is set. It's a set price.
You know, it's one of those things where you don't need it till you need it. I had to deal with a loose dog that came and killed my sheep one year, and you know, thankfully dog control was available to help. So
There is another cure. It's lead poisoning.
Yeah, but then you get your tip of ringer right there.
It's sewer. Yeah.
Yeah, so, but again, we do have dog control for the park. They do wander through every once in a while. But they're available there for somebody to say that a big black dog came, it stole my lunch, ran off, or whatever.
They deal with rabies, bones and stuff like that.
They also deal with rabid animals and all that.
Is that a one-time hit every year, or do we pay that incremental every month?
No, they send us the
bill and then we
yearly
pay it.
invoice. Okay, other questions on the A fund?
Street.
Yeah, that's shown.
Oh, yeah.
Historical property, it's at Penny Burton.
Yep. Yeah, we're allowed to contribute to the bricks and mortar to maintain the town's collection. We're not allowed to buy, the money's not able to be used for anything except building and it's up. That's it. So they're required to give us an annual accounting of what they did during the year. So we can't pay for food or soft costs and all those services. Just the bricks and mortar. Next, moving to the B fund. You'll see that I moved the sales tax down, and that I, of course, indexed it up on TV, which we saw before. Franchise fees, that is from the cable company. That has started to decline. Mostly because the fiber has started to come in, and it is cheaper in Village right now, all the distance to come to Village. By the end of 2026, we'll have fiber at every address in the county. And then I expect that people will either be paying less to the cable company or they'll switch. And either case our franchise payments. That joint activity with other governments, there's a couple of things that are in there. One is half of the code enforcement officer. The half of the expenses associated with the garbage collection days that we have in the spring with the village is they reimburse us for half of the dumpsters, and half of this, and half of that. And then the reimbursement for the fireworks is in there too. Interest, etc. B 2555, we collect $500 from each new home that's being built outside the village to go to the park. I always budget for 3. We're getting about 3 per year. The building permit fees on 2555A, that has been on its way up. And that can be anything from, a new home, a new barn, roofing, etc. People seem to be investing more in their properties right now, so we're seeing a lot more comments today. And then some of the unexpected balance to balance out the line. We do keep then in the appropriations area just the attorney line, advertising, some contingency in there. The street lighting, we pay for all the street lights outside of the village, and that includes the street lights that are behind this building. Sidewalks, I did pull that down. We have the opportunity to keep extending the sidewalk north on 15A. We do not have any engineering done for any of the other corridors. So
There's still no inclusion in the crosswalk, I think.
So,
Is it out of general, you mean?
so
Yeah.
Sean has to go talk with Todd. I think Todd is willing to. So, but Sean has to do something. The programs for the aging is, that's for the Lima seniors. And then the parks expense, that I still 5,000 park reserve, same thing the village puts in. Summer youth program, we were getting close to the edge of what we had to pay this year, so
All I'm thinking is, I did respond to her about 10 bucks, but I haven't gotten anything back, so I guess keep an eye on your email in case you just want to see what we put out.
the celebrations contractual, that is the fund that covers the entire fireworks now, which will then reimburse partially for the line above. Code enforcement services there, the one that we use is the zoning and planning secretaries. The other code enforcement officer items, software. That. The garbage line, 8160.4, that includes the dumpsters for the spring cleanup days, which again were reimbursed for half earlier in the year.
So we will be getting $5,000 back from the village. Is that what you're saying, or?
So that's our entire garbage budget for the year.
Okay.
So we pay for dumpsters over at the highway garage, we pay for 2 toters here, that comes out of that line.
Okay.
Along with the amount that we paid for, they had like 8 of those great big dinosaurs in the spring. So I think we got just over 4,000 back from the village.
4,000.
So no one paying for the crossroads,
No, Crossroads pays for the Crossroads. That's where that is. So, right, we've been through DA. We've been through DB. We've been through are there any questions on the fire district and how that's all split up and everything? Again, the ambulance discussion, we have to have this separated out. People don't know that they're being charged for one thing or the other. There should be a separate line on the tax bill. The last time, the estimate was about $7,000 to do all the filings, that, I'll go ahead and make some adjustments here. Discussed, right? Water. So next is Water District 1. Water District 1 is a portion of Bragg Street. It is all of Martin Road. It is Idison Road and a little bit of York. Right now, of course, we are under contract with all of our water districts with water authorities. We're not showing revenue. We're not showing water being paid for. So we're handling all of that.
Per charge, they get everything.
Correct. So but what you can see here is that finally this water district, their fund balance is nice and solid. They have $68,000 there. If you remember back in 2018, during the audit, we discovered that they were bankrupt. And so they were bankrupt because from the inception of Water District 3 had been paying $100 a month for all of its water, and the rest of it had been going to Water District 1. So I actually had to go to the comptroller's office to get permission to move money over a 5-year period back into Water District 1. So they're in a good spot. If we had a huge repair where we were going to get a bill from Livingston County for pipe or whatever, we would be able to pay it. It is, yes. It is getting used. And so, again, this district was paid for by an EPA fine. It was not paid for by the district users. The company that was over there in Arco poisoned the groundwater in volume. And so everybody over there had to stop using their wells. Also, all of the hydrants there have to be welded shut at the bottom. When you use them, you have to move them out. You can't have the groundwater coming out of it.
What's going on with it?
So Caddis is the last one. Now there's a company in there that is using the space. There was an ambulance call 5 weeks ago.
Guy got crushed.
Some guy got crushed under a machine.
Yep.
So lived through it, but they're doing there. They finally mowed their lawn.
Yes.
Charlie had looked after. But yeah, it is, the facility is being used. The DEC is actively monitoring the test wells out there. The county gets the report once a month, once every 6 weeks, something like that. But the ground is still out.
Is it really? 100 years?
Yeah, they dumped a lot of stuff. So Water District 2. Water District 2 is 15A north of the village, including Rexon, Slocum, a portion of Gale. We just added a customer here, so that puts us up to 129 or 131, something like that, units in this district. There's 60 plus of them in the mobile home community. Annually, we have to add as you can see, a property tax on this district because this district owes money to the village for a portion of the supply line that goes out to Avon. And we are 2 or 3 years into that. It's like a 5-year contract we have with them to pay that off.
Is that why back in 2023 they took the big hit there?
Yes. Yeah, we paid what we could up front and then had to start dragging it. Their fund balance, if you look on the next page, is slowly coming down. The actual bill is 17 and change, and we're appropriating 15. So we're using a bit of their fund balance each year, trying not to leave them with a zero balance. But once that thing is paid off, we're probably going to have to leave this charge in place place in order to be able to build up some fund there so that they can have some sort of cushion.
Going forward.
Every time we tried to do that, we got hit with another charge or something from the way that the water system is set up. So hopefully, this will kind of right itself.
But Livingston County did not take ownership of all our districts?
No, we can't actually give them districts. Unless the town of Lima dissolves, we'll own them forever. All we can do is give them a 4-year lease.
So we're leasing it to them?
Yes.
Okay.
We lease it to them. They're responsible for repairs. They're responsible for metering. They're responsible for billing. They're responsible for all the new taps. Whatever else goes in the district.
So is there, probably stupid question time here again, but, so there's no, off of their property, obviously, selling all these residents water. We as a town get no cut off of that at all? Nothing.
The water.
We get a lease payment, and that's all we get.
No, we
don't even-
we leased it to them for the dollar.
A dollar.
For 40 years. And so what we do get is we don't have to pay for you have to have a water engineer, you have to have a secondary water engineer, so 2 people trained.
And we don't have to budget for repairs in there every
We
year.
do not have to budget for repairs, we do not have to staff the crew. They have a dozen people on call all the time. They have a back door now, so they can go and do vacuum excavation, and all that stuff that we can do. Plus, we never had the ability to work on plastic line, and now some of the system that we would have had was plastic line. They can do all of it. But the billing, the other piece is so much easier. We did the meter conversions out of it, so we converted to their kind of meter, all of them read. They will run through sometimes 2 to 3 times a month because they can use the meter reading gizmo to figure out what the leaks are. They'll see that people's meters are going like crazy, call them, tell them to check, do you have a hose been broken, do you have a toilet that's running, etc. Whereas our guys were all part-time, and especially during the winter, they're plowing. They're not hanging out with the water.
So they do at least have a semi-healthy balance still there, $25,000.
Yeah,
So-
yeah, and it'll get down to about 20 before the village piece is paid off.
Okay.
Once that's paid off, then we should be able to grow it and, $15,000 a year until we hit 100. Stop. For whatever reason, so the oldest district obviously is District 1.
Right.
That was 1980, which this one came next, not too far afterwards, but the construction appears to be a little bit different. We have an awful lot of breaks up the 50 main corridor. So I don't know if they have a lot of pipe or what have you, but that's what it was.
Well, I think talking to Benji, the fit and finish wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But at least when you find part of a dump truck sideboard underneath pipe in a trench, yeah.
So
That
I'm
was
not
back
sure.
this spring.
Yeah, I'm not sure if we ended up building it. We might have. We'd have to ask Keith if he would have been employed at that point. But we may have actually built the district ourselves. So District 3, this is the other half of Idison Road to the west, plus Romley and York there for a couple of houses. They had to pay District 1. Right now it was 23 users. guy on the corner who owns that quad building, the one that's right on the corner, that was part of the district. But there's two of those buildings in a row, and the new owner decided he was going to connect both of them, unbeknownst to anybody. So the water authority caught it in a month that, you know, the amount of water being used doubled. So he got fined for, you know, not having a water main, not doing this, not doing that. But, so there's some extra usage coming in.
He is getting charged now.
Okay. He got charged for all the water he's using, and then, but this district is also going to probably have to, at some point, we'll have to start levying, you know, a couple $1,000s a year over the 23 properties to try and build up the fund balance to something. We're not appropriating anything right now. So it does count against the whole tax cap calculation. And so it would be better, although arguably this district had bad dairy, so we've actually had high limestone backfill around the lines that have blown, I think, twice since I've been here, which, you know, somebody picked up the wrong truckload of something, dumped it in over top of the pipe, and just sits there and eats it. Yeah, and so this is, it's still ductile iron, it's not plastic. So we're still going to see leak after leak after leak up through there until all that other junk is out.
What happens if there's a major problem and the fund balance don't cover the repair or whatever?
Then we will have to, there is a board of directors for each one of these water districts, and it's us. So
Yeah, right.
we then have to go out and hire the bond council and go out to bond with a bond anticipation note, which is what we had to do in District 2. And we run the bond anticipation note until we can go to a full bond, and then that bond is paid off by this district or whatever.
Well, I think we should set a target for 2027 to start appropriating some money to the reserve fund so we can avoid that issue.
Yeah, again, it's a small, but
Trying to say, Mark, how you eat an elephant, one bite at a time.
I'm thinking what you
Thank you.
And then District 4 is our newest. That is plastic pipe. That's Tupelo Trail, appended over onto Dalton Road. That one, now all the houses are built, and that's as many as we're going to get. We've got
8 users.
8 people on that water district. And so they have a fund balance that is sitting there. They do have to contribute a tiny bit to that village debt that District 2 is carrying. But it's not much because there are only 8 users and the other one is, 30-ish. And then we have District 5, which is completely blank.
Right, we like to see that 0. So my question is, so I know we've had discussion at the meetings, seriously, when are we looking at the first levy? Probably 2027, the 668 or whatever it's going to, do we even know that at this point?
So next year at this time is when we'll be discussing the first charges.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they'll
So
submit for
27.
27.
Yep.
You sure?
That's what I think. So I have to take this sheet and I have to go through it with Municipal Solutions and the bond council to make sure that I don't have to start doing something now.
So does
but
the
it depends on when the bond comes due.
Okay.
So does the USDA have a say in that with us on when we start, or?
So the Department of Agriculture, they have to review our plans prior to saying, yep, we think this is good to go. As far as this piece, we have to spend the money and get reimbursed as far as the loan piece goes. That we have to take their loan, spend it up, etc. With our bond anticipation note, take their loan to cover the bond anticipation note, and then the grant money can be drawn against. That's the order of march. So if we go to bond this fall, we might have money deposited into this account next year. Well, we will, but we might have it in December. We might have it in February. I'm not sure what the timing is.
The thing I understand is we're going to be charged interest as soon as we get our own money. So we're going to be incurring a cost in 2026.
We are, and we'll also have we're making more on New York class than we're going to get charged. So,
Oh, okay. So we've got some revenue coming in because of the investment in the class. Okay.
so once we put the funds in there, we'll be in the New York class account.
So we want to delay paying the contractor as long as possible. because they're going to have pipe in the ground by the end of the year.
Right.
So we're going to pay the contractor.
So when will that grant physically be in our account per se?
So we should be able to take the pay app applications and draw it against the grant fund, as they come in.
Make draws against it.
Click, et cetera. We have to spend on anticipation note, take out the loan to cover it, and then we just keep jockeying back and forth until.
Because when do we have to pay the engineer too? I mean, there's a hefty bill there.
There is. There is. And so the same as the Siemens project, those consolidated pay applications that we put in. That's exactly what it's going to look like. So much from this contractor, so much from this one, so much from this one. And we just jumble.
Your environmental studies and all that. Any idea what they're doing on that?
The engineers are working. All right.
You know what's planned in the budget by November 1st, according to the schedule. But I'm hoping we'll see something in the draft one earlier than that.
Okay, any questions on any of this stuff? We didn't discuss a lot of changes. It will change the bottom line piece here. So right now, before we started today, this is where we are working at. So page 1 gives you a look at the assessments and the tax rates and how that relates to each other. So again, it's your assessed value, your tax rate, and your tax levy, the three legs of the stool. Assessed value did go up, so about $1.5 million, even though we did take a pretty big hit on the GCC building, we still went up. That would be the new homes that went in and everybody's building units that were added on to the value of their houses. And that's really what that is. You can see the tax rate change, et cetera, and then, town-wide, outside the village, and then the fire district. That's kind of where that is. The second page gives you the breakdown sort of per thousand, and then it gives you the tax cap calculation. And so you can see there where we are sitting. So, and again, these numbers will shift as soon as I go and start typing in what we get today. And they'll shift around a bit. This is pretty close.
Well, thanks for what you do, Mike, because this is a lot of work. really doing a good job. It's a lot of work.
It's, I think this is about as good as
And you do have a good jump on it. I was talking with Dave Lefevre tonight on the way here about some business, and he goes, "You're going to where?" I said, "Mike's preliminary meeting." Well, I guess I better get going. He's got a jump on it.
He knows what he's doing.
Yes, he does.
Now, do we have a public hearing on this thing then too?
So, the mechanics then for the rest of this, I'll go ahead and get these changes together. I will send the, yeah, I'll send the updated version of everything to everybody. We'll have that at the next board meeting. If everything is good, then we go ahead and we move this to preliminary. Once we have a preliminary budget set, then we set the public hearing for the November meeting. We publish this up on the website, etc. And then we'll entertain everybody's comments and stuff. If there's anything that we have to adjust, we adjust it. And then we go ahead and we would adopt the budget prior to the 20th of November. That's their statute. Cool. All right, no other questions?
Nope.
Then I think we're done.
Motion for adjournment.
Second. Third.
Okay.
On to my next two meetings.
Yeah.
43 minutes, 15 minutes.
You 5,000 again.